Hi everyone and welcome back to Successful Living. Today we're going to talk about time batching, one of my favorite of all times. Obviously, I'm a planning and time management in general productivity addict, and I have talked about time batching before, but in this video I'm going to be telling you what can you actually batch. If you don't know what batching is, it's basically doing similar things in one go so you don't have to get in and get out of things. I will talk about that in a minute in detail. And you basically increase your efficiency by doing similar kind of things at one go. I think that was a really good description of what time batching is. But I do have a dedicated video on time batching. If you're interested, I'm gonna leave it in the description so you can go ahead and watch that and maybe come back to this or watch that one after this one, as you wish. But let's get started. You can do time batching in two different ways. One is business by business or project by project, or you can do this by, similar things in different projects or different businesses. So basically similar activities, if that makes sense. As a serial entrepreneur, I have multiple businesses and I do both of these things. Sometimes I work on one business in one day, and sometimes I do all the, admin stuff of all businesses in one day. So there are two different types of time batching and you can use both of them depending on your needs. Some of the best tips I have for you today are going to be towards the end of this video, so make sure that you're watching the whole thing. Before I go on, one more thing to tell you about time batching is that it does two things for you. One is it increases concentration, because obviously when you're doing similar things in one go, you're not going to be, getting into the zone and mindset of, let's say, writing and then do it for an hour and then get into the mindset of finances or admin and get out of that. Get into the mindset of meeting people and get out of that. It makes your concentration super effective and efficient. So basically batching does that for you. It makes you cut that time that you need to get in and get out, and it also makes you really put all of your efficiency into that thing that you're batching. The second thing it does for you is actually it makes your to-do list, your task, look less, because you divide them into groups of things to batch, and then it's not like a whole huge list of things. It's basically a writing list, and there are some items maybe under it. There's an admin list and there's some items under it, but these things are actually one to-do list, if that makes sense. So it makes you less overwhelmed by making your to-dos look more organized. And if you're into to-do lists and maximizing efficiency, I got you covered. There's something in the description box for you to watch later about all of that. All right, what can you batch? One, you can batch all the creative time that you need. What do I mean by that? I mean filming, I mean writing, I mean painting. Whatever you do that requires you to be creative, you can batch that. You can get into your zone, you can create your environment, and you can create your environment and you can create. So basically you're tuning into your creative self and you're working through all the things that require your creativity. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, administrative tasks like emails, bookkeeping if you do it, anything like that, answering messages, answering comments, whatever is administrative for you, admin tasks, you can batch all of these. I love to do that. I love to batch my admin tasks to 1 day a week, and that's it. We're good. Social activities, you can also batch these things, You can meet several people back to back, you can talk to several people back to back, you can have Zoom calls, video calls back to back. So you can also batch your social time, but also you can batch your social hobbies. You can go to a dance class and afterwards yoga class and afterwards, guitar lessons or whatever. So you can batch all of these social activities as well. What I love to do is batching stuff that requires me to have a full face on. And what I mean by that is if I'm having a video call, if I'm having to film, if I'm having to, go out for something, all of these things require me to have some makeup on. So I try to do these things on the same day where I prepare myself for it. Maybe on another day, I don't need a full face. I don't need anything other than my minimal. Maybe I'm going to be doing editing and writing and stuff like that. So I also save up on that makeup time, which is about half an hour for me every day. I save up on that by batching things that require me to look like this. Out time. This is something I do so much. As someone who works from home, when I have meetings, I like to book all of them to 1 day, basically batch them into 1 day, and I just go out in the morning, have 5-6 meetings in a day, and just come back. Instead of going 3 times a week for 2 hours, means 1 hour travel time at least every day. So it's 3 hours lost instead of batching, every meeting into one day. So this is something I highly, highly recommend you to do as well, out of office or travel time, or, like out and about time. You can also include into this anything other than meetings as well, like going to the vet, going to the doctors, anything that requires you to be out of the office. I think you can batch these things and maximize your efficiency by not losing time on the travel itself. Writing, obviously, writing captions, writing blog posts, writing scripts, writing emails, writing messages, writing anything really. I love to get into the zone of writing. You can also think about that in the creative time, but maybe you're not doing anything creative, but you still need to write things, presentations maybe a book, I don't know. You can also batch all of these writing related items. And what I love to do is I take my writing to the couch mostly, because I love being more comfortable. I take my laptop with me instead of having to be sitting here in my office. I batch that time as a relax/writing time. Strategy. You can batch your strategy meetings, batch your strategy thinkings, your mind mappings, your brainstorm sessions. All of these things I love to batch once a month at least. I sit down and I reconsider what my business strategy is, and I have meetings with my business partners, and it just works the best because, again, I'm in the zone of that. That means I am really, really tuned in, and I'm really efficient in just creating strategy. Finances, obviously, bookkeeping if you do it yourself, anything like invoicing, understanding your expenses, personal financing, keeping track of things, paying your bills, paying your credit card statement, like whatever it is for you, you can batch all of these things. I love to do it once a month. It takes me about 2 hours instead of doing it every week for an hour. I save up 2 hours on that basically, so you can batch everything finance related together. Housework, I think, is a no-brainer. You can just do house cleaning once a day or deep clean once a month. That's what I love to do. Sundays are our GYST days. If you want to see what we do on Sundays, go check the description. But basically, I batch any housework, especially cleaning, all together so that, again, I'm in the right outfit, I'm in the right mindset, the music is right, the situation is right, and I'm just go. Okay, so one of the best ones, we're getting there. I love this because I think it makes your brain so organized. What I do is I have a page on my planner where when something comes up, an idea, somebody tells me something, somebody gives me, a thing to do, but it's not like urgent. I put everything down that is not on my daily plan and daily to-do list in that inbox system. So I batch inputs into that inbox system. And what I also do, I process that information in a batch system once a week. When I'm doing my weekly planning session, I just sit down and I go through that list. Maybe it's a to-do, then it goes to the relevant to-do list. Maybe it's an idea, then it goes to the relevant to-do list idea part. Maybe it's something that I heard I like, but I don't think it's cool anymore after a week, then it just goes away instead of cluttering my mind and my planner and my lists. So information processing, batching, I think that's how we can summarize it. It's one of the best things I have ever, started doing, and I highly recommend. If you're not doing anything from this list, go ahead and apply this one to your life, like now. Errands, obviously, I talked about this as, like a part of the travel, but there are other errands, like maybe you want to order some groceries, maybe you want to, order something else on Amazon. Anything that is like errands, you can also batch all of those things. Communications, that is one thing that I love batching. If you watch my video about tools I love using for saving time, you have seen the CRM tool I use for keeping track of all my contacts, business related, family, friends, everybody. And I love to just check that tool once a day, text everybody, create follow-up tasks and everything. So have an hour of communication or half an hour of communication with the people that I actually want to be, in touch with. And then I just finish that then and there. I don't have to think about texting someone. I don't have to think about calling someone and forget, obviously, or, do this ongoing thing of messaging. I also batch my messaging. I also batch my messaging basically in the morning and in the evening for my WhatsApp personal, and for my business WhatsApp is like 3 times during the day. So here you go. I also batch, how I respond to people. Personal time, obviously you can batch that too. You can have a mask and do this and do that. Whatever it looks like for you, you can also have a batch of time where you do different things for your, me time or your hobbies in general that you do on your own. Cooking is something that you can batch. It's one of the best things ever. What I'm talking about is basically meal prepping, meal planning, whatever you want to call it. You can just cook once or twice a week. It saves massive amounts of time, it saves massive amounts of money, and it also makes you, make the right choices about what you put into your body. So this is something that I highly, highly recommend you try. Just batch your cooking in general and you'll see the difference, I promise. And my inboxes, just like I talked about the WhatsApp thing, I have a system where I go through my, all my email addresses, my Slack, my coaching client messages, all the social media comments, YouTube, whatever. Everything is basically my inbox. And what I'm doing there is taking them to zero. So it's called inbox zero. And I do that twice a day, in the morning before I start work and in the evening before I finish work. So I batch also managing my, emails and all that input like that. I think it's very, very effective and it prevents you from being reactive, which is the #1 killer of productivity. So start batching, answering your emails as well. So what do you think? What can you batch? Let me know in the comments which ones apply to your life and which one are you going to start trying today. Go to the comment section and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, if you thought it was helpful, and if you think that you can do better in terms of time management and be more productive, I think you should absolutely watch these 2 videos. And also, if you liked what you've seen here, please consider subscribing and supporting the channel. It's free. It doesn't take any time. Just click here and join the family. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.